Hello there and welcome to another live chapter reading for Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Today I shall be reading from Journeys Through Space-Time of the Journeys Through series box set by James Talisman. Prologue: The Teachers. All the attendees sat in anticipation for the wonderful event about to unfold. For most of the adepts sitting in the grand auditorium, multiple lifetimes of experience had finally brought them to this special place and time. As each one sat waiting in their plush seats, they each marvelled at the massive room they were privileged to be in. Beautiful granite and marble walls, inlaid with gold and silver symbols, surrounded them on all sides. The luminous lighting that shone from above provided both perfect illumination and a soothing effect. From the amphitheatre, adorned with elaborate plush seats, those present looked ahead to the magnificent wooden stage before them. Made of the finest woods found throughout the multiverse, the stage with its wooden adornments and marble pillars was truly spectacular to observe. With the auditorium almost full now, a brilliant globe of energy appeared about 6 feet above the beautiful floor and centred perfectly in the middle of the stage. Soon the magnificent golden globe began to transform into a dazzling star shape, emanating countless colours in all directions. And all those in attendance stared in awe at the incredible display of light as it then began to take on the form of humanoid figure. Within minutes, the once bright golden light had metamorphosed into a being displaying an ancient royal nature and presence. Neither male or female, this powerful and strikingly beautiful entity poured forth a love vibration that radiated out over the entire amphitheatre and all those seated. Once fully formed, the entity, adorned in a breathtaking robe made of exquisite material interwoven with various shades of dazzling colours, began to speak. It is such a pleasure to be here at this time and place. Of my many roles, this act is one of my most favourite. At one point, each and every one in this grand room made a decision to devote their eternal existence to be of service to all creation. That selfless choice and the enormous time devoted to learning the ancient wisdom ways and their associated skills have brought each of you here. In many ways, I truly envy the experiences, adventures and journeys all those present will now embody and embark upon. It is now time for each being here to begin building these new relationships and connections that will have tremendous impact on all creation. Your efforts and future contributions are so appreciated by the all that is, and all those who serve creation. As a symbol of the immense sacrifice and dedication you each embody, each new master will receive a talisman inscribed with the Tree of Life, and other sacred symbols that represent who and what you are. I now request that each of you come to the stage and collect your talisman and blessing. Welcome to the multiverse. Welcome to the Krytonian Empire. The morning air was cool and moist in their nostrils as they breathed it in, while staring across the field towards a maniple of infantry troops assembled before the imminent battle. Each of these seasoned warriors had trained for this and numerous other battles since their early teen years. Adrenaline burst forth as they anticipated the upcoming call for yet another engagement with foreigners trying to change their fundamental beliefs and take the lands that rightfully belong to them. These frontline soldiers were among the highest calibre to serve for the Krytonian Empire, and Cassius was very proud to be one of them. He had spent most of the preceding night sharpening his blades and preparing his gear, and now the scutum felt good in his hand, along with the weapons strapped to his sash. As Cassius steadied his mind for battle, the cornu sounded off, and the Krytonian army's front guard began their march across the field to engage the opposing forces. The distance between the two advancing forces closed as battle cries welled up from both sides. As was the case for countless other battles, the most elite warriors from both fighting forces would engage first. A decisive conquest of the enemy at the start of battle resulted in a psychological victory for the successors, and almost always guaranteed triumph in the end. Many yards of distance were reduced to a few feet as the elite forces began to battle each other. Swords swung towards their opponents as the sound of weapons pounding into shields began to ring out across the battlefield. Cries of agony were heard as razor-sharp metal tore into flesh. While many planned strategies were in play during his confrontation, it seemed almost like chaos when viewed from afar. The killing between these adversaries did not feel right for some reason, and the dichotomy between war and peace truly showed itself during the most intense moments of battle. Cassius struggled with these very thoughts even as he swung his blade at the approaching enemy soldier. Thoughts such as, why am I trying to kill another soul, and what true purpose does this serve? Rang through Cassius's mind as he continued to execute the killing moves and counterblows that years of training had made automatic. I must let go of these thoughts right now and concentrate on the task at hand, thought Cassius, as he countered yet another mighty blow with his scutum and swung his deadly blade down onto the shoulder of his opponent. Blood from the wounded soldier flew into Cassius's face and eyes as the severed artery shot blood out in all directions. Temporarily blinded by the warm blood, he instinctively moved his shield into a position to protect his head and upper body. Violently shaking his head to remove the blood from his eyes, he then swung his body and sword around 180 degrees to strike a blow at the enemy soldier who had flanked him. The move caught the foreigner by surprise as Cassius's swinging blade removed the enemy soldier's head from his body. While the sight of the enemy soldier's head flying through the air gave Cassius a slight pause, he quickly regained composure and once again began the next advance on the oncoming forces. Running towards the enemy, a paralysing ring echoed at his head as an all-encompassing dizziness took over and made him drop to the ground. For a brief moment, the frenetic sound of battle left Cassius's head as blackness and silence took over. Drifting off into the black void, his thoughts were only on survival and getting back into the fight. Now in the void, Cassius saw a bright light and heard a faint voice say, "I am sorry, but I must leave you for a while. Please do not forget what you have learned. You will survive this." Cassius then awoke to find his friend and fellow combatant standing above him with his hand stretched out to help him off the ground. Brutus yelled, Rise quickly, my friend. There is still a battle to finish." With the helping hand, Cassius quickly got back to his feet, and the sound and sight of battle once again filled his senses. Teaming up, Cassius and Brutus soon made a swath through the advancing soldiers, leaving a bloody trail of dead and wounded bodies in their wake. The superb fighting skills of the Krytonian army's front guard was helping to secure victory over these foreigners. Seeing the devastation of their elite soldiers lying about the battlefield, the rear line of their Thespan soldiers began to instinctively move back. A barrage of arrows coming from the Krytonian enemy's archers then descended upon the retreating soldiers like a torrential downpour of rain. Razor-sharp blades from these airborne weapons ripped through the troops as screams of agony rang out and bodies dropped to the ground. Soon after, the second round of devastation riddled the second line of defence with lethal arrow penetrations. The sound of retreat was given by the Thespan command as their troops began a full withdrawal back to the lands they had come from. As cheers of victory sounded from the Krytonian soldiers, the task of retrieving their wounded and dead began. "Thank you so much, brother, for saving me out there," a grateful Cassius spoke as he slapped his best friend on the back. "Who would I have to celebrate this victory with if I had not?" laughed Brutus as he walked away to help with the clean-up. I hope you enjoyed this chapter and that you'll go check out the book. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.